This training is going to show you how to enter the data into the historical database. This is Access, the main switchboard. From here, you'll go to this one. It says Historical Data. And then here to Historical Income Statements. Okay. Then from here, you start out up here where it says Flock Number Search. This is where you pick the flock. Now, we're going to start. There's a lot of different flocks here. Just for the first test, we're going to start with this one, HD1T, or top, HD1 top. And some of these are going to show up red because they're just older flocks. They're retired, but we still need to put the information in. I'm going to minimize this screen. And the data is coming from this PDF file. It's called Flocks P&L 2014-12 of 31. So this is the end of the year flock P&L. And just to show you what's on here, each flock, you're going to first have one page of what's called statistical analysis. I'm going to scroll down a little bit. And in the second page, we'll have the profit and loss statement. Okay, and it shows the current month, year to date, and what's called flock to date. We're going to be putting all these numbers in. The amounts, not the per dozen amounts. I'll show you that in a minute. Some of the key numbers on each of the statistical analysis, it'll show this is the flock name. Here's HD1 top T. The flock number. It's in the database. It's just going to say 1300. It could either say 1300-01 or -02, or it might say 1300.0001 or 2, something like that. The key thing is that 1300. Make sure that that always matches up. And this is the cycle. It says cycle 1. You'll sometimes see a cycle 2 or cycle 3 also. That's the cycle number. So you'll need all those things, the HD1 top, the 1300, cycle 1. And you see this is period ending 12/31 of 14. And then the other number you'll need down here, it says number of birds at the end of the period. This is how many birds there were, 132,450. And that's the same number that you'll use for the monthly information, the year-to-date information, and the cycle-to-date information. It's always the same number of birds. And then down here, the dozens produced. This is dozens of eggs produced. And here it has the number for the current month, the year-to-date, and the flock-to-date. So all those different numbers. Okay. So we're going to look at this one. So this is HD1T, and I'm going to make this smaller. Okay. So I'm over here in the database now. Again, I'm going to click on HD1T. We're going to start with the current month. Okay. So right here, well, first of all, the date is 12/31/2014. This one's already filled out, so I'm showing you one that I already filled out. So 12/31/14. The roll-up type here, we're going to do the current month first. So current month. You see it's already pulled the numbers up. That's because I already put this data in. We're going to do one in a second. Okay. Then some of these numbers, the green numbers, the green spaces up here are ones that you fill in. And then you'll also fill this data in down here. So what this number here, it says total direct expense enter. This is going to be kind of a check number. So if I put this number in here and you find it, we're on current month. So you look down here, current month, and down here you see total direct expenses, 13672.05. So I'm going to put that in there, 13672.05. And then over here, the net profit, you see that down here, right down here, it's 23728.20. So 23728.20. Okay. And what you notice, that these two numbers are in here as a check number. If when you start out, if you put this number and typed in 23728.21, And when you put all these numbers in, it turns out to a different number. One of these will turn red. So if you see either of these red, it means that something's wrong. Go back and check your numbers. Okay? So I'm going to put that back as a 0. Okay? Then what you're going to do here, one thing you can do is you can grab this and pull it out a little bit so you can see things just a little bit easier. There. I think that's a little better. So the data you're going to enter, okay, it says the bird count at the end of the period. You'll come back over here to the statistical analysis. You'll first of all make sure that we're in the right thing. HD1 top, it's right up here. 1300, you see it right there, 1300. It's also right here. Cycle 1, we haven't gotten there yet. When we go and we put data in for cycle 1 here. But for right now, we're doing the current month. And it says the bird count. So that's this number down here, 132,450. So that's where that comes from. Okay. Then the dozens produced. Scroll down here a little bit farther. Again, we're on the current month. The dozens produced was 237,210 right here. Okay, so we put that number in. Okay, those are the first two numbers. Then you start going down here. Start following this. There's egg income at 361, 400. There's that number there. Then it goes down feed, producer pays service. You see all these numbers here: feed, producer pays service, medication, egg tax. Usually these things are 0. Sometimes they may not be, but insurance, miscellaneous, interest. And when you get to that point, the system adds all these things up and figures out this direct expenses. And you'll see if your number doesn't match up, this will turn red. So watch that. Then you go on down here and say, okay, there's interest, we're there. Depreciation, that's this line right over here. Depreciation, you see for this one it's 0. For the current month it's 0. So 0 there. Then where it says capitalization cost, come over here and you go down a little bit farther. Right down here it says cost through capitalization. Again, we're on the current month. That's 686,619.28. You put that in there. Okay. Then if there happens to be, sometimes there may, you see this cull income, sometimes there may be a number there. If there's a number there, you put it here, cull income. These last ones, I don't think you're ever going to use those. Okay. And so that finishes the current month. Then what you do is switch this to year to date. You'd put in the new numbers, these two numbers here, the direct expenses and the net profit. I'm not going to do those right now because these don't change each time. You'll see that's the same number as we had before. So really you should just kind of zero that out each time and put in the numbers from over here. So let me show you over here. You would put in for the total, this is year to date now, right here. Well, the first thing you do is the bird count stays the same, but the dozens produced, and I'm going to move back up here again. Dozens produced year to date is 3,324,790. That's where that comes from. Then your egg income. Then you start going in here. Year to date, all these numbers. And the total direct expenses that you put in, you would enter this number, 1,818,512.47, and then it would not turn red, it would be green. And the net profit, you put in this number down here, 1,848. Okay? And then you finish doing the rest of these things. Same thing as you did before. Then last thing is you decide which cycle this is. It tells you this is cycle 1. So the third thing you're going to do on this flock is you're going to pick either cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3. Since this one's cycle 1, we pick cycle 1. Okay. Again, you put in here, the bird count stays the same, but you put in the dozens produced. I'm going to move back over here again. Dozens produced, flock to date is 5,140,240. That's where that comes from. Okay. Then you would put in the total direct expenses, that 2,754,000. That would go in here. Down here, the net profit 1,801,585 goes in here. Then you start putting the rest of these numbers in. Okay. And the one thing you may see different here, the flock to date, the depreciation line over here, you see there is a number in there, and there was in year-to-date also. There was a depreciation, okay? Capitalization is still this number down here, which is usually going to be the same each time, okay? And then once you get that, then that one would be finished, okay? Then you go to the next one. So statistical, this is food D bottom. So I come here. These are the older ones, or called the retired ones. They're down at the bottom. These are all alphabetical, except you'll see that the active ones, starts new alphabetical. So from the active ones, it's alphabetical. Then the old ones become alphabetical also down here. It's food D bottom. So I'm going to go down here. There's food D bottom. And that's 1301. And over here, this is 1301. So that's the one I want. Okay. Food D bottom. Yeah, and then I'm starting the record date. It's going to be 12/31/14. Okay. And then the rollout type. Sorry, I have to click here. We're going to be starting with current month. Okay. And what I'll do is go ahead and put in these two direct expenses, the net profit. So I'm going to scroll down. I'm in current month. So here's current month. The direct expenses is 65,861. 65,861.65. The net profit, which is right down here, is 3,162.74. Okay. Then the bird count. Go back over here, scroll up. Right here, number of birds at the end of the period, 18,212. And the dozens produced, again, we're on current month. So right here, dozens produced, current month, 37,020. 37,020. Okay. Then we start with the egg income. Right here, egg income. 81,863.65. Feed. And then so on and so on. And once you get the feeding these in, you'll see that those numbers will add up to the 65,861.14. This will turn from red to green, okay? And once you get everything in, this number will also turn green again, okay? So you finish that out, and then the very last thing on this one, this over here, you see this is cycle 2. So you'll do current month, you'll do year to date, then you'll do the cycle 2 on this one, okay? And that's the flock to date, cycle 2. And then you'd be finished with that one, and you go to the next one. Well, when you want to go ahead and stop this, I'm going to full screen this again. Okay. Let's say we finish now. You just go ahead and you can close here or here, but I just like to close it from right here. Just close from right here. Okay. Close that. And then you get here and you say return to the main menu. And from there, you exit the database. Click the exit database, and it will exit you out of the database. And so that's how to do those. I would suggest try doing a few at a time. If you do too many, it's going to kind of make you look cross-eyed. It's just a lot of work. And then we'll take some time, and over the next couple of weeks, we can finish all these. All right. Thank you.